Okay, hello everybody, and welcome to our Reflect and Connect workshop. I'm Alison Bell. I'm a Heal Your Life workshop leader and life coach based on the teachings and philosophy of Louise Hay. And I've created these workshops because these are based on Louise Hay's 12 Ways to Love Yourself. And I've created them because it gives us an opportunity to just stop, take some time for ourselves, and really think about what we think about. And these 12 Ways to Love Yourself, I'm doing one each month. And they're an opportunity for us to take some time, slow down, reflect, and bring some awareness to our underlying limiting beliefs and our negative thought patterns. They're designed to help us connect to the present moment, to our hearts, to our truth, and to our inner wisdom, our intuition, if you like. And they're a gentle opportunity for ongoing self-discovery, for that personal growth. If you're interested in personal growth, it's great for that, because these will take you on a very gentle journey, looking at a different subject each month, and we can really explore what our inner dialogue is. And by exploring one of these each month, we can gently integrate our newfound awareness from these sessions into our daily lives. One thing I found with this work is building consistency and momentum in our practice is absolutely key. So Louise Hay's philosophy was very simple, but it's not necessarily easy. And so if we build in some consistency and momentum with our daily practice, then it becomes easier and it becomes a new program that we're installing. And it helps us to cultivate that positive change that we want to experience in our lives. So today we're looking at the third way to love yourself, which is don't scare yourself. And it's really interesting. Lots of conversations in the past few days have really been around this don't scare yourself. So it's been very much top of mind for me. And our minds are really powerful tools, but sometimes they can create fears that aren't even real. And quite often that is if we are not in the present moment, but we are thinking, we're fear-based thinking off into the future. And these fearful thoughts can keep us stuck in a state of anxiety and worry, and often prevent us from taking any positive action towards our dreams, our desires, and really living our life fully, because we're living in a fear state. And fear-based thinking can affect every part of our well-being. And I know some of you already know this. It can leave us feeling really stressed, scared, overwhelmed, tense, and sustained stress can actually have an impact on our every body system, including our nervous system, our digestive system, our immune system, and our reproductive system. So it affects us physically as well as mentally. And I know, again, some of you are aware of the mind-body connection, so that will totally make sense to you. It may also cause us to doubt ourselves or expect problems, and hold us back from taking that action in our lives that we want to take and that we need to take. And with our self-talk and inner dialogue, this can often involve words like "what if?" And I find this a lot with my coaching clients. That they're off into the future with fear-based thinking, with what if this happens, what if that happens, what if I do this, and immediately takes us off into the future, and we're not in the present moment where everything is exactly as it needs to be right now. So, as Louise Hay says, the point of power is in the present moment, and we can choose to think a better feeling thought in this moment instead of scaring ourselves with the current thought. And quite often it's identifying that, it's bringing the awareness to that in the first instance. And again, that's what I help clients do, is identify that fear-based thinking. You may have heard of Mark Twain as well, and he was cited for saying, "I've lived through some terrible things in my life, some of which actually happened. And I love that quote because it makes everybody smile when they hear it, because they make the connection that it's their thoughts that create that drama in their lives. So we actually scare ourselves about something that might never happen. Um, and and that may resonate with us right now, but sometimes it's remembering it. It's remembering to bring ourselves back to that present moment and not go off into the future. So learning not to scare ourselves begins with this awareness of how we think and how we speak. And it means noticing our thoughts, and if they're creating fear and worry, and gently choosing thoughts that bring us back to the present moment, which will help us feel calm and supported and comfort instead. And it's not about, I was asked earlier on in the week about, what about the reality? It's not about ignoring challenges. It's absolutely about acknowledging the challenges, how they may make us feel, but also it's about meeting life from a place of trust rather than panic. So we can acknowledge that something may have happened, and we've had a response to that, but it's making sure that we bring ourselves back to center once we've acknowledged the situation, our thoughts and feelings, and how we can think of things going forward. One of my favourite affirmations, which has helped me a lot, and even mentioned it this morning with a client, is whatever happens, I'll handle it. This builds self-trust within me. And so I'm able to move forward even though I don't know for sure what's next. And I'll handle it, because whatever happens, I'll handle it. We can also use this when reflecting on past experiences. Even though we may not have seen what was coming, we handled it. And I think that's really empowering. And we're still here today to tell the tale, right? So we've handled things in the past that we never thought we would have to handle. So with that said, Louise Hay says, don't scare yourself. So this is what she says under the 12 ways to love yourself. So she says, stop terrorizing yourself with your thoughts. It's a dreadful way to live. And she suggests finding a mental image that gives you pleasure. Now, Louise's was yellow roses. Mine's a sunset. I love a sunset. And immediately switch your scary thought to a pleasure thought. Now, that's one way of turning that scary fear-based thought into something that's better feeling. And sometimes, that picture of a sunset is my favorite picture. Sometimes that's not enough to get me away from that fear-based thinking, but it is a method, that one of the ideas that she uses. We can journal, we can do something else that makes us feel good. We can think something different, and we can have maybe our favorite affirmation. If we find ourselves in this situation a lot, we can have our favorite affirmation to hand that will help us bring us back to the present moment and to feeling different and feeling better, hopefully. So I'm going to take you through a gentle guided reflection exercise. So make yourselves comfortable, take a moment to settle in a comfortable position, and just give your body permission to relax. This is totally your time. And adjust your position if you need to, and allow your body to just feel supported. And if it feels right for you, you can gently close your eyes or soften your gaze. And just begin with a slow, steady breath in through your nose. And a soft breath out through your mouth. Sometimes I count to 4 as I breathe in, and then 5 on the out breath. And just do that a couple more times. Again, just breathing in calm and breathing out tension. And just let your body settle into this moment. Let your shoulders settle. Let your tummy relax. And just be here now. And let your mind slow down and relax. There's nowhere else you need to be right now, and nothing else you need to do. This is your time. And when you feel ready, just gently bring your awareness inwards and let your breath find its own natural rhythm. And if you haven't done so already, you may wish to close your eyes if that feels comfortable for you. And simply allow yourself to be here in this moment. Nothing to do, nothing to fix. Just this moment right here, right now. Now imagine yourself standing in a peaceful, safe place. It may be a garden, a beach, a woodland, or somewhere that feels calm and comforting to you. Notice what is around you, the colours, the sounds, the feeling of the air. And allow yourself to feel safe here, supported, peaceful, and rested. Now, in this safe place, imagine there's a gentle path in front of you. And as you slowly begin to walk along this path, you become aware that this is a path of self-discovery. A place where you can lovingly observe your thoughts without any judgment. And as you walk, imagine that on one side of the path, there are words floating gently in the air. These words are the thoughts you often think about yourself. The words you say in your own mind. Take a moment to notice what words appear. Perhaps they are words of pressure, words of worry, words of criticism, or words of fear. And just notice them. Notice without needing to change anything. Simply become aware. And notice if there are any thoughts that make your body tighten. Thoughts that make you feel anxious. Or thoughts that make you feel that you're not enough. Perhaps thoughts like, what if I fail? Or I'm not good enough? Or something will go wrong? Or I can't cope? Whatever words appear, just notice them. These thoughts may have become so familiar that you hardly notice them. Yet each one has an effect. Each fearful thought sends a message through the body. So notice now where your body responds. Perhaps there is tightness in your chest, a knot in your stomach, or tension in your head or shoulders. Just take a deep breath here. And just observe with kindness and compassion. No judgment, just awareness, just noticing. And now gently ask yourself, where in my life am I scaring myself with my thoughts? Where in my life am I scaring myself with my thoughts? Allow whatever comes to arise. Maybe it's about your health, your relationships, your future, your self-worth. Just notice what comes up. And now gently ask yourself, what words do I speak to myself that create fear rather than peace? Just listen gently. Notice the tone and the language and the beliefs underneath the words. And as you notice them, imagine you are looking at these through thoughts from a place of compassion, not as truths, but simply as old patterns, thought patterns that can change. And now imagine that in front of you appears a warm, loving, inviting light, soft and gentle. This light carries compassion and safety and truth. And as this loving light surrounds those fearful thoughts, the words begin to soften. They become quieter, less powerful. And in their place, new words begin to appear. Words of reassurance, words of kindness, and words of truth. Perhaps words like, I am safe, I am supported, and I can trust myself. All is well. Allow yourself to receive these words. Notice how your body feels as you hear them, and notice what changes, what softens, and what relaxes. Take a slow breath in and breathe out. And now gently repeat in your mind, I release the need to scare myself with my thoughts. I release the need to scare myself with my thoughts. I choose thoughts that bring me peace. I choose thoughts that bring me peace. And I am safe in this moment. I am safe in this moment. Let those words settle into your heart, into your body, and into your awareness. And take a moment now to thank yourself for your honesty, for your willingness to notice, and for your courage for peace or a better feeling thought. And when you're ready, begin to bring your awareness back to your breath again. And now back to the room where you are, and become aware of all your surroundings. And when you feel ready, you can just gently move your fingers and toes. And when it feels right for you, you can gently open your eyes. And bringing back with you this awareness that you have the power to choose thoughts that soothe rather than scare, and that each loving thought is a step towards peace, calm, balance, and feeling centered. So now with your notepad and pen, just take a few moments to make a note of what came up for you and any new awareness and any affirmations that resonated with you or that came to you during that little reflection exercise to use going forward. And here's a reminder of the reflection questions I shared. So you can use those as your journaling prompts. What fearful thoughts do you entertain regularly? And how do these thoughts affect your energy? How do they make you feel? And just have a think about what you would rather believe instead. And feel free to pop anything in the chat that you'd like to share. And if you're watching this on replay and you have a realization or a light bulb moment, I'd love to hear that too. So feel free to share that. And now we have the power of affirmations. So if you haven't written down any yet, the next slide is going to show you some affirmations that may resonate with you, and you may like to adopt them as your own to take forward. Just think, if they feel good or they give you room for possibility, that's a really good sign. If you feel like you're far away from what the affirmation is saying, then maybe it could be just adjusted a little bit so that it resonates with you more. And we are planting new seeds in the garden of your mind. So they're seeds of possibility that you will nurture over time until they start to grow and feel true for you. So I'm going to show you some affirmations that I've come up with, and I'll read them. And just maybe you just want to, you can read them, or you may like to just hear me read them and see which ones really connect with you. So one of Louise Hay's favourites is "All is well, I am safe." That can work in almost every situation. "I can trust myself. I trust the process of life," which is a super powerful one. I love that one. "I choose peace instead of this." So you can say to yourself, I choose peace instead of this current feeling. I choose peace instead of this fear. I choose a better feeling thought instead of this one. I'm learning and growing. And that's really good if you feel like you're worried about making a mistake. We're all learning and growing. And whatever happens, I'll handle it. That's one I mentioned at the start. I bring myself back to the present moment. As I said at the beginning, if we're way off into the future, we're not in the present moment, we can just acknowledge that and bring ourselves back to the present moment and recognize we've just gone off into the future with a fear-based thought. It's only a thought, and a thought can be changed. Thank you for sharing. Now this will make you laugh. So when you start talking to yourself or recognizing when you've got a negative thought pattern going on, you can have a bit of fun with it. And I heard Louise Hay say this and I thought it was really funny. But you can almost say to yourself, thank you for sharing. Thank you for sharing that old negative thought. I'm choosing to think something different, or I'm choosing to think something else now, or I choose to believe something else now. But just that thank you for sharing, you're just acknowledging that there's an old belief that's trying to pop up. And you can say, thank you for sharing. I'm choosing to think something different. And I love creating new ways of thinking. When I started doing this work, I didn't find it easy to create affirmations. They didn't just roll off the tongue. It's absolutely part of the learning process. And I love creating new ways of thinking and speaking and new affirmations. So hopefully you've found at least one or two there that you'll be able to use going into your daily lives. So do pop any new positive affirmations that you're taking into your daily life that you'd like to pop in the chat, or just write it down and we can share at the end. But yeah, please do pop it in the chat if you've got one before it passes you by. And whilst you're doing that, I just wanted to share that we've got other ways to other months of Reflect and Connect workshop coming up. So our next one is Monday, the 18th of May at the same time, 12:30. And this is a fantastic way of just popping in, listening to, taking that time for yourself, listening to one of the ways to love yourself, taking a little bit of something from that and using it in your daily life going forward. So that's our monthly sessions. I've actually got all the dates listed in Eventbrite. I just need to create a new event for each of them. So do check that out. And then I'm running the Heal Your Life 2-day workshop. Now, this is the signature workshop that Louise Hay created with Patricia Crane, created this 2-day workshop. They used to call it intensives in the US. I don't think it's intensive, as in it's 2 days where you're solely focused on yourself and exploring these different reflection exercises, which are really, really powerful. Got a beautiful venue in Eversley called the New Moon Mill. It's the most idyllic space to just take that time for you to explore your truth, connect with yourself and the land. There's a beautiful oak tree in the garden called Hope, and it's just a beautiful, it's got a beautiful energy to it. So I'm holding that on the 6th and 7th of June. Places are limited, but if you'd like to be there, do let me know and we'll get your place reserved. So thank you for your time. We've just explored one of the ways to love yourself, which is don't scare yourself. Forgive yourself was actually last month. But just bringing awareness to what has come up is another treasure that we can work with. So we never judge what comes up. It's always a treasure. Once we are aware of it, we can do something about it. And you don't have to change anything overnight. Awareness is the first step. And as you move through the rest of your day or your week, you may notice other opportunities where you become aware of your fearful thoughts, which you can then practice a better feeling thought. So that's your growth work, we say, rather than homework. And if nothing else, just remember you can choose a kinder thought. So thank you for showing up for yourselves today and exploring where we can stop scaring ourselves. Remember, you don't need to remember everything. Trust that whatever landed with you today is exactly what you needed in this moment. And perhaps there will be other opportunities for you to practice this between now and next month. There will be a recording, so you can listen again. And if you listen again, you may find that different answers come up for those different questions, those different reflection questions. So that is everything. If you've got any questions, do let me know, and I look forward to seeing you next month.